everybody, here we are arriving at Hafan, Rockley Park. Looking forward to seeing a new type of accommodation we've never stayed in before. So this is Haven's glamping pod. Here we are at 50 Purbeck View at Rockley Park. So we'll do a quick tour of it. Oh, green sticker means it's been cleaned, guys, and ready for us. Really excited to have a look in here. So straight into the kitchen and living area. First impressions, very modern and airy. Oh, hi there. Right, let's have a look around. Plenty of storage. And as we can see, a nice size sofa. So let's have a look at the kitchen / living area. So we have the electric fire. And then just up above there, a little bit of storage drawers and the TV. And it's not smart, by the way. Okay, let's take a look in the cupboards. Plenty of crockery in there, glasses, and a nice big glass dish if you want to make a pasta bake like we always enjoy. Nice modern taps and sink. And this is pretty cool. Look at that pull-out workspace. Point to make, there's no dish drainer, which is a bit of a problem. Underneath, you have your utensils, plenty of them, and plenty of cutlery in there. All your saucepans underneath, and there's a bowl then for washing your dishes. Just to mention, there is a remote control to operate the electric fire. So it's a 4-hob gas burner, there's the grill, and then the oven, all nice and clean. So nice under cupboard fridge, quite large. Note there's no freezer. Standard kettle, 2-slice toaster. By the seating area, we have a plug, and then a built-in microwave oven. So moving towards the back of the pod, we have the dining area / sleeping area. Apparently, this is supposed to turn into a bed. As you can see, there's a small TV, some windows and plugs with USB. Here, there's a standard double wardrobe with a few little hangers in and one shelf. And just looking into the living kitchen area from a different angle. And just spotted, there's a curtain tucked in here so you can divide the bedroom area off from the living room. Have some peace and quiet from everyone. And just around and towards the left, under the ladder, there's another storage area where they keep their bed in. So this is where Matt usually spends most of the time. Yeah, he's going to kill me. Here we are, the toilet, or Matt's throne. Some nice storage space, hanging space, and then just around we've got the shower, and then the sink with some more storage underneath, and then we've got the mirror with more storage again. So plenty of storage, and don't forget the adapters for your shavers. So onto the shower. Ideal size for me, but Matt, who's 6 foot, just about fitted under it. Nice powerful shower. Temperature wasn't great. I'd say lukewarm, but it did the job. So for any Harry Potter fans, Lumos. There it is. We have light. Some nice little light in there above the mirror. And then back in. Just thought I'd show a bit more of the toilet. And this is the interesting part of the ladder to the upstairs section. So due to my back, I wasn't going to climb up there. I sent Matt up there. So straight ahead, we have a storage area where you can put your bags or whatever you want to. Here is the permanent bed feature. We've got the headboard, which is nice. 2 small mattresses, 2 windows, limited headspace. You cannot stand up. And we've also got bedside lights with a small little shelf. And you have the adapters there for USB and normal plugs. And just a quick run through, we put all the lights on for you so you enjoy having a look around.
Friday. Damaged vent. Someone sucks. Wildlife and bugs. Dirty crockery. Damaged cupboard. Dirty toilet brush holder. Pieces for table convertible bed missing. Our makeshift bed on the floor. Upgraded to silver caravan. It gets worse. Someone left their food. And their rubbish, caravan not clean. Left next day went to...
Delve into our review at Hafan Rockley Park. I just want to say we are caravan owners ourselves and understand things will go wrong, so we'll always give a holiday park a fair chance to rectify the problems. However, there was problem after problem after problem, and Emma's still angry, frustrated and upset, and that's why she's not part of this review. Emma has stayed at a couple of Hafan parks with me, and I've stayed at the majority of them, and I've never had problems with Hafan, so this is totally new for us. So let's get into what went wrong. As you saw in the video, we were staying in a pod, and there were several issues with it. So let's start with the first one. Let's get on to the cleanliness of the holiday home we stayed in. Starting with dirty crockery, which clearly had not been cleaned, a very dirty toilet brush holder, and then upstairs you can blatantly see it had not been cleaned, a very dirty blind, a lot of insects and worms by there, and someone's old dirty socks. So this clearly did not meet the Hafan guaranteed cleanliness. As you can imagine, obviously we didn't fancy staying on the bed upstairs, so the table downstairs converts into the bed. So we went to do this, and guess what? You're not going to believe this. Pieces missing to make the bed, so we couldn't make the bed. Fantastic. And on top of this, it was also broken and did not fit into place when we went to put the bed down, so we couldn't even lower the bed down fully into the correct position without the edge sticking up. It was a sofa bed, however Emma could not sleep on the sofa bed due to having problems with her back and health reasons, but this is beside the point. So there should have been a permanent working bed in the accommodation for us. As you will have seen from our videos, we had to take the mattresses from downstairs to make a bed on the floor because it was too late to complain at that point in the night, so we just compromised, put a bed on the floor, said let's see how it goes tonight, and our night's sleep was horrendous. It was too late to complain the night before. When we got up in the morning, we both decided this is not acceptable and wouldn't expect any guests to stay like this, especially if we were renting out our caravan to someone it's just not on. So we decided we needed to go down the office and make a complaint as soon as possible. Emma doesn't want to be on camera for this review because, as I said, she's angry and upset, but she's going to explain over what happened because she knows all the ins and outs because she dealt with the majority of it, in fairness to her. So she's going to talk over it, and I think my facial expressions will pretty much say it all.
Hi everyone, sorry I don't want to be on camera today. As you can imagine, I'm not exactly happy. So yeah, with this ordeal, I decided to go up to the reception area and to speak to someone. So I spoke to someone on the desk and explained what had happened and that we weren't happy with staying where we were in the pod. So he said that we would have to get the team to come and have a look at it, which are obviously fair enough. They're going to make sure that we're not lying or anything like that, as you know, some people might try to pull a fast one to get a better accommodation or something, because you never know. Anyway, eventually I wasn't happy with what he said and wanted to speak to the manager, so got the manager to come out, or well, what I assume was the manager or team leader, whatever she was. She basically said that they can't move us straight away because there was no accommodation available, that they would have to come and have a look at the accommodation to see what was going on and see if they could rectify it first. I explained to her that obviously I didn't think that the table bed that was broken would be able to rectify it. It wasn't a quick fix. And also the fact that the cleanliness wasn't acceptable either. We just didn't feel comfortable being there. and we wanted to move, but like as I said, she said there was no accommodation available. Insisted that it wasn't acceptable to arrive to your accommodation and it not being ready for you. But her answer to that was, well, you've got to allow us to rectify it. Okay, rectify it, but it shouldn't have to be rectified in the first place. It should be ready for you, end of. So anyway, after a lot of back and forth, she said, right, we'll send a team down to have a look at it. And she said it won't be longer than 3 hours, which again, that upset me again, because we were waiting again for another 3 hours, So yeah, in fairness, the maintenance guy, he came in, I think it was about 2 hours later. Not his fault, obviously, because he has a jobs list himself. Really nice chap, really helpful. Came in, had a look at the bed, and was like, I can't understand why this is like this. These pods are fairly new. They should, it's been put in the wrong way. It's not a quick fix. And he did say to actually go up to reception, speak to them pretty much straight away. He would go up there and file his report, but for us to follow it up, otherwise we could be waiting ages. But with that, he went up, and went about 15 minutes later. The girl who was the manager, team manager, as I said, she came down and said, right, okay, well, we've had the report, we are going to move you, I am sorry, blah, blah, blah. We're going to give you an upgrade to a silver caravan, which was like, oh, fantastic, great. Even though we had to wait, you've rectified it, thank you. So she said, well, there's 2 caravans available. Reminder, they actually said there was no accommodation available when I initially went up, so they've just miraculously appeared. But anyway, so yeah, you have a choice of these 2 caravans. You can go and have a look at both and decide which one you want to stay in. I was like, oh, great, because obviously they have different types of models, so you can have like a same grade but different models by different brands of caravans. So we packed all our things, went back up to reception, and then she said, right, okay, here's the key for one of them. We can't give you the key for the other one at the moment because there's an issue with it, and we may have to change the barrel, which I'm assuming is the actual key lock thing. So we said, fine, we'll go down and have a look at the one that you've given us. If that's fine, no problem, we'll just stay there. We did go and have a quick nose at the other one, which looked nice, but we only had a quick look through the window. As we actually were leaving that one, the cleaners did arrive there to clean it, so okay. So we thought, right, okay, let's go and have a look at the other one. So we went round, had a look at the one we had the key for. We went in, and we could see, oh, right, okay, this is really nice. We could see the floors have been cleaned because they still had put the chairs on top of, from the dining table. Went through all the bedrooms, all the beds are all made up, ready, brilliant. Then Matt, as usual, has a nose in all the cupboards, and to our delight, the bin cupboard was full of someone else's rubbish. He just looked at me, and I just looked at him, and we just thought, what is going on? So then I said,
sorry to interrupt you quickly. Also, there was other stuff left in the other cupboards.
Well, that's what I was just about to say.
Right,
now,
okay,
yeah.
sorry. I thought you
so then Matt carried on looking through the other cupboards, and then also there were food. There was a load of food left over, and salt, which had been spilled in the cupboard as well. And at that point, we just thought, what is going on? You've rectified.
One other thing as well. There was a plaster on the TV.
Oh yeah, there was a plaster on the TV in the bedroom over the red, the infrared part, which I'm assuming we worked out is probably someone trying to cover it when they're sleeping, because sometimes when you've got a TV on in the night, you can still see the glare. But for it to be left there is not very nice. I mean, it could have been somebody could have just put it on there, but we worked it out was for that. So we just looked at each other and thought, right, okay, so they've rectified the issue with all the problems we had in the pod. You'd think they would have thought, right, okay, let's get this right now. Let's make sure that this caravan is lovely for these people. They've gone for that. No. They'd gone in, they had, quote, after going back to reception, I'll use it now, part cleaned.
That
the
comes into play
caravan.
later.
That will come into play a little bit later on. But part cleaned the caravan, and it wasn't ready. Why did they not make sure that that caravan was perfect for us before going in after what we'd been through? Being a manager and customer service manager previously, I would have personally gone down to make sure that would have been ready for them. You know, it's I just don't get it. I don't understand.
Oh, so being an ex-team leader, totally in a different field in care, if there was an issue, and my support workers, I'm no longer team leader, I work in schools now. If I was still a team leader, I would go deal with it myself as well.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, both of us very angry. Matt being more angry than me. How I stayed calm, I don't know. But anyway, so we went back up to reception. I went to see the team leader and she said, oh, is everything okay? And I said, well, there's good news and bad news. And so the good news is the caravan is lovely. The bad news is it hasn't been cleaned properly. Obviously, I took pictures, showed her the pictures, and she was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Okay, we'll get someone to go down and clean. I said, well, how long is that going to be? She said, oh, we'll get someone to go down straight away. I said, right, okay. So me and Matt went and we thought, right, we'll give them some time. She gave us the vouchers, the £50 vouchers for obviously compensation, basically, what we do. So we thought, right, okay, well, we went for lunch. We used half of them lunchtime. We thought we'd use the second half, perhaps the day later, and have like an evening meal or something like that. So we went off. We were about an hour, 20 minutes, something like that, having lunch. So, you know, enough time for someone to it was just to empty the rubbish and literally just take the stuff out of the cupboards, give it a quick wipe down. That is not going to take 5 minutes. It's going to take. And we thought, oh, well, there's plenty of time. We went back down. Guess what? It was still all there. So
this is an hour later, bear in mind.
Hour and a half later. So we went back.
Oh, hour and a half, sorry.
Yeah, so we went back in. I said to Matt, I said, I'll go in and deal with it, because I know if you go in, you are literally going to lose the plot and kick off. And I just didn't want that. From my perspective, sometimes, yes, you can be upset and complain, but sometimes there's a way to do it. Stay calm but firm, and that's my way I go about things now. So I went back in and on her break, so I spoke to this other young lad who was on reception, explained everything, and I said that we'd been down, it hadn't been cleaned yet, and he said, oh, well, it is on the list. And I said, well, how long is it going to be again?
No, there was something else. I'm sure you said there was something else, or did I not? Or did I miss you correctly? They said, oh, it's just rubbish, you could do.
Oh, yeah, well, that's what I was saying. So he went to speak to them, he came back because she was on a break, so she wouldn't come out, which is another thing. If I was a manager, and there was a big situation going on, even if I was on my break, I would have gone. Nobody, you don't have to. Everyone's entitled to a break, of course. But if there was an issue like this, and you could see it's people who were upset, and at the end of the day, this was getting 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon now. So it had eaten into most of our day. I would have gone out and just had a quick word and try and sort it out. Anyway, regardless of that. So he comes back out, and I said, well, how long is this going to take? I said, can you actually ring the cleaning team and speak to them and see what he said? And he said, yeah, I got hold of them. So he goes on. He said, I can't get a hold of them on the phone, but what I'll do is I'll put it on the log, on the report, and they'll pick it up. I said, right, well. He said, well, at the end of the day, it's only a bit of rubbish and that. You can go in if you want to, still use the caravan. It's only someone's rubbish, that, you know what I mean? And I just looked at him and thought, oh, so it's okay for you to go into an accommodation with someone else's rubbish. I'm just flabbergasted.
Can I ask you a question quickly, Emma?
Would
you used to clean our caravan when we used to rent it out?
Yes.
Would you ever left anyone's rubbish in that?
Of course I wouldn't leave someone's rubbish. I mean, it's just ludicrous, the fact that they thought it was acceptable to go into an accommodation which was an upgrade and to make things better for all the stuff that we've been through already, and it was okay to go in with someone's rubbish in there. I mean, talk about standards. It's absolutely ridiculous. So anyway, I just said, and in the end I said, right, okay, well, can you tell me how long? And he said, oh, it shouldn't be long, it's at the top of the list, you know, we'll sort it out. I said, right, okay, well, we'll go down and we'll go and wait by the caravan. Thinking, okay, top of the list, it's got priority, it'd be about 10, 15 hours. We thought, right, we'll give them half an hour, you know, which, considering how much time we'd already given
We've
them.
been waiting since 9:30 to sort all the problems out. So
I just thought,
bear in mind, it was nearly 3 o'clock
yeah.
at that point.
So, you know, it was half an hour. We ended up, I think it was about 40 minutes in the end, and we went back up. Matt was just like, right, I've had enough now, I just want to go and go. And I was the same, but because of the weekend, we just wanted, it was the weekend, we needed to get away due to personal circumstances. And I just wanted to get in my pyjamas, to be honest, and just sit in front of the TV and just chill at this point. But no, obviously Haven had other ideas for us. So I went back in, there on the desk, and I said to her, I said, they still haven't been. And she came out, she just basically said, I'm so sorry, I'll get hold of the cleaning team. And I said, to be honest with you, I think it's at the point now where we don't want to stay anymore.
Was this where she mentioned about the park cleaning, which she never mentioned?
Yeah, well, and then she was, are you sure? You know, we don't want you not to, you know, can I try and get hold of the cleaning team and everything? And you know, try and get them to get there down there now. And I said the only thing is, the difference is, we've got to the point now where we're so upset, we just want to go. And I said, look, can we just have a refund? And she said, right, well, I'm not authorised to issue a refund. I'd have to wait for my manager to come in. And she said, to be honest with you, I'm not sure whether you would get a refund anyway now. And I said,
joke.
Why? And she said the reason why is because we weren't able to, you know, with the cleaning, with the cleaning team, they hadn't seen it, we wouldn't be able to rectify. I said, whoa, hang on a minute. You rectified our original accommodation that we actually booked and paid for, but you're saying because we went down and found the rubbish and everything, and the cleaning team hadn't been in.
The cleaning team had been in. They've
been in and they had part cleaned it.
But can I just add in? She claimed that she had said to Emma and me that it was going to be part cleaned. I guarantee you, she did not say that, because me and Emma is a clean freak, as people who know her will know, would have looked at each other and said that is totally not acceptable if she had said that.
Yeah, exactly. And going back to when we first originally found all the rubbish, when I went and spoke to her about, oh, there's good news and bad news, and told her about the rubbish, she said, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. So it was evident that she hadn't told us that, because she would have said, oh, well, we did say to you that it was part cleaned, and obviously they hadn't been in to do the rubbish yet. At that point, she should have mentioned that. But that was not mentioned, because she'd only told me it was part cleaned right then in the conversation we had after us wanting the refund. So yeah, so basically we are waiting for a phone call. Well, it will be tomorrow now, which is Monday, from her manager to see whether we can have some sort of refund. I mean, it wasn't a massive amount of money. It was a quick weekend away. It was £175. But that's not the point. It's the principle of the thing, what we had to go through. Whilst we wanted a nice quiet weekend away, it just turned into an absolute disaster, and it's just
never again
wrong. And what topped it off and showed how badly run this company are, or that particular part.
I wouldn't say the company. I think the company's a bit unfair, because we've been to a few havens and we've never had problems.
Yeah, I'll retract that. It's not so much the company, it's the park itself. There were two other. There was one other family and one other gentleman, and they were complaining. The family were complaining of the state of their caravan. The bed was broken, the carpets were dirty, the shower was dirty. You know, so it wasn't. There was a lot going on there. There's a lot of things there that were wrong by the looks of it. I mean, it's a massive park, Rockley Park is, and by the looks of it, I don't think they had enough staff. The way the staff were going around the site. Basically saw two of the cleaning girls walking around, pulling a trolley, just walking around. It was pouring rain, but besides the pouring rain, on a big park, you'd expect them to have some sort of like a golf cart or something, to take them round. So it's going to be quicker. They're going to be quicker going from A to B. You know, it just didn't make sense the way they were managing it all.
I question whether the staff need more training than the cleaners, because it's evidently clear that it's not just one accommodation, two accommodations, and I guarantee you, if they passed as a third accommodation, we would have found some cleanliness issue.
I think training, yes, and also the other thing, the cleaners I know are under massive under pressure due to time constraints, because they are told, right, you need to be in and out of each caravan or each accommodation in a certain amount of time. Under those pressure and time restraints, they could be doing it and they could forget, and they could get calls from other areas saying, right, you need to go and do this. This is priority and everything. So I can understand where mistakes can be made. So I think they need to overview and have a look of everything, to be honest with you, and the way it's run in that particular park, because it's obviously not working.
Also, back to the office. You mentioned about the family with the caravan, with the bedroom. There was also another gentleman in there.
Yeah, another gentleman. I couldn't quite make out. I mean, he was quite loud and shouting, but I couldn't quite work out whether he was a holidaymaker or an owner. But he was just saying, he said he's had enough and he wanted his money back.
Words, exactly.
So yeah, I want to use what his words were, but like obviously he decided to go into the other route, where I stayed calm but firm. He decided to shout and rant and swear. But yes, you know, I just think they need to have a look again at the ways of managing everything, to be honest with you. But yeah, we shall see what happens, and maybe we'll give you an update on how it went and the conversation with the manager.
Yeah, we'll definitely give you an update if we get one. I'm not holding my breath, because I know what sometimes companies like this can be like. Hopefully Haven proved me wrong, because we've had run-ins with other companies for other reasons, which I won't go into. But also, yeah, we just got to a point where we left, because I just couldn't stay anymore. I was at the stage where I was about to blow a fuse, if I'm honest with you. And we've booked a premiere in, and you know what? We're having much more comfort, enjoying ourselves a lot more already, aren't we?
Yeah, and sad to say, I think the most positive part of that holiday was us leaving. I think that's ironic.
I think, yeah.
You know.
I think, to be fair with what Emma said, that was probably the most positive part. There is two positives I can add in, as I will always be fair, and Emma will always be fair when we come to reviews. We're not sponsored by anyone, so we can speak our truth. So, first positive, the gentleman who came from maintenance, he was very good at his job, and he was honest then.
Yeah, he was honest and helpful. He was great. He repaired what he could, but you know, and he said he'd report everything, and said, you know, it's not acceptable. You know, you should be able to be moved from here, no problem, but you need to push it with reception. So even other staff members who are on a different side of the customer service team, they understand and can see flaws there. I mean, like we said with Haven, we've had some fantastic. It's not Haven as a whole as a company. We've had
fantastic holidays with Haven, as we said.
Yes, we've had some great, you know, it was Hafan and Doniford Bay, we've been there, and it was lovely. We had all the positives. Matt's been to more, but those are the two I've been to. So it's not Haven as a whole. I think it's just individual parks that, unfortunately, that does let it down and then does give companies bad names. So hopefully it's something they can rectify, because if not, that particular part, I think, will be in trouble.
The other positive I got one other positive, and it's the only positive I can think of, and it's very rare. Me and Emma struggle to find positives. We normally struggle to find negatives, don't we? So the other positive I got is, obviously, we had our meal in the restaurant. It is a 5-star food hygiene rating, and the food was very, very, very good. However, here's a negative. Guess what Emma found under the table, which was a delight.
Yes, a nice bit of chewing gum was stuck under the table, which was a bit of off-putting. But yeah, I mean, children.
Cleanliness again.
Again, cleanliness standards. You know, I suppose some people think out of sight, out of mind, that sort of thing. But no, you can't. You know, it needs a proper deep clean and everything. But yeah, with the positive, going back to the positive, I suppose. Even with the manager, I mean, even though it took a while to get it rectified to get us upgraded and everything. She did do it for us, and she was very polite and very nice, whereas some managers can be a bit sort of up themselves and, you know, react in a different way. But she was very nice, very polite and very professional at all times. And she did rectify, and we did have the vouchers, you know, as a compensation for waiting and everything. But unfortunately, it just got worse, and I think, you know, it should have been checked that our accommodation was right the second time around. It was, you know, it would have been perfect, so we wouldn't have had to go through all this, you know. So unfortunately, it was a bit of a mishap there, but yeah.
Sorry for bearing with us for a long-winded review, but we had to get all this in because it was important we got it factually correct with everything. So we're going to leave you with some footage we did take around the park. Unfortunately, as you can imagine, it's not a lot of footage because we were only there, unfortunately, for one night. And yes, if we get an update from Hafan, we will give you an update on it. Thank you for watching and goodbye.